So, as you guys know, LeBron James, he is 37 years old and in the twilight of his career. And after a massively disappointing season, the question has to be asked, should LA trade LeBron James? In my personal opinion, 1000% yes. In the following minutes, I'm going to lay out the case of why they should and why it's beneficial for both LeBron James as well as LA. And looking at reason number one, it's pretty simple. LeBron at this point is an old dude. He's still great offensively, but he is old. This past year was 37 in year 19, and next year will be 38 in year 20. And despite putting up 30 points per game, having great numbers, LeBron at this point in his career, he can no longer play both ends and be elite on defense as well as offense. Also a big problem, his defense is optional from night to night. And in addition to that, he is injury prone at this point in his career. He hasn't had a big time injury, but he gets nicked up here and there. He'll miss 2 games back to back, maybe a week. I mean, the dude is old and has to be expected. This past year, only playing 56 games, and looking at his 4 years in LA, he's missed 84 games, which is more than he's missed combined playing in Miami as well as Cleveland. Now, one positive thing for LeBron being old at age 37, his stock right now is still very high. And if I was in the market, I would sell LeBron's stock right now at its highest point at age 37. As going forward, being 38, 39, possibly 40, the stock is only going to dip in the foreseeable future. And if LeBron is traded, whoever gets him will still have an elite offensive talent, who at the worst will give you 25 points per game for the next 2 to 3 years. And very quickly, looking at the Lakers side of things, right now, they're the oldest team in the NBA with the oldest starting 5. They very desperately need to get younger, and trading LeBron James can bring in valuable assets, draft picks, and great young talent. And building off that, reason number 2 is LA needs a big reboot. Looking at Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss, even LeBron James, those 3 people screwed LA the 2022 season by bringing in Westbrook, gutting their depth, gutting their shooting, and gutting their defense. And like I said before, trading LeBron James provides assets the Lakers right now do not have. And imagine this scenario very quickly. LeBron James, he resigns and plays 3 to 4 more years with the Lakers. They have minimal success, maybe win 1-2 playoff series, but for the most part they're an outlier when it comes to championship caliber teams. In Los Angeles, that is simply unacceptable. As fans and the media will kill LeBron James, Jeannie Buss, and another star player who is responsible for mediocre or below average Lakers seasons. They don't care about injuries, age, fatigue. LA fans want to win, and they want to win now. And that's why trading an aging LeBron James could provide the pieces LA needs to rebuild and possibly be contending by the end of the decade. I know seeing AD and Russ play basketball, it won't be pretty, but trading LeBron James is the first step to rebooting LA and rebooting the franchise. And looking at reason number 3, it's very similar to reason number 2. That being that LA not trading LeBron James will doom them for 10 to 15 years. Very quickly, look at LA's future draft picks. In 2022, their first round pick is owned by the Pelicans or Grizzlies. They have no second round pick. 2023, the Pelicans own that. Once again, no second round picks. 2024, the exact same thing. And 2025, the Pelicans once again potentially have their first round pick. And when it comes to the second round, for the first time in 4 years, the Lakers will have their own pick. And if that future sounds bleak, listen to this. In the next 9 years, the Lakers franchise will have 2 first round picks. That is absolutely pitiful for a team who mortgaged their future on multiple superstars that produced 1 championship. And when it comes to LeBron James, I want to make one larger point. He is very calculated when it comes to off-court activities and where he wants to play. But this past year around the All-Star break, he was very wishy-washy, throwing a lot of things out there, saying he wants to play with his son, he might come back to the Cavaliers, and he also said he wants to be a Laker for life. All three of those things cannot happen, so why not cut your losses and trade LeBron James for some draft capital and possibly a young star. Now, looking on to reason number 4, we have the fact LeBron James, his goal of winning a championship in LA has already been accomplished in 2020. That was the goal of him signing with the Lakers, and also the goal of them trading for Anthony Davis to win one championship and restore LA to national prominence. As before LeBron James, they were a laughingstock and hadn't won anything in almost a decade. LeBron and AD, to their credits, they won their championship and they completed their end of the bargain. For Lakers fans, how could we be mad at LeBron James for delivering on his promise and giving you guys a ring after largely being irrelevant after Kobe's prime? And when it comes to LeBron's overall legacy and the perception of being traded, in my personal opinion, it wouldn't change anything. It doesn't diminish his accomplishments, it doesn't elevate him, it does really nothing, as him being traded once again is beneficial for both sides. And the last thing I will say regarding LeBron and the Lakers and their 2020 championship, yes, it was in the bubble, and yes, they gave up a lot to get that ring. Was it really worth one championship to gut your entire franchise and be terrible for a decade after that ring? Some fans may say yes, other fans might say no. Now, last but not least, we have reason number 5, which brings it full circle with this video. That being that trading LeBron James is beneficial for everyone involved. For LeBron, he gets a fresh start, he's out of the dumpster fire in LA, and he gets a new team that he might have more say with. Also, an added positive, that team most likely would have draft picks to get Bronny to play alongside him. Whether that's in New York, California, a small market team, who really knows? But if LeBron wants to play with his son really bad, getting traded out of LA could definitely make that possible. As like we said, the Lakers have very few draft picks, and LeBron staying in the organization after this year's disaster has definitely been muted and minimized. And also looking at the Lakers and their management, not having LeBron James there takes away a lot of distractions as well as drama. Of course, the Lakers are the Lakers, but LeBron James' pressure he brings is immense for the front office. And like I said before, LeBron at 37 still will get a hefty haul from any bad or middling team, and those assets could build up LA, and maybe in 2030 they could possibly be contending for another championship with a future superstar. So that is the 5th and final reason as to why LA should trade LeBron James. Do I think it should happen? 100% yes. Do I think it will? Probably not, maybe 20-25% chance. It's very sketchy and almost sacrilege to trade someone like LeBron James in the twilight of their careers. But if you want to be ruthless and save your franchise, I think LA should definitely pull the trigger on a LeBron James trade. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.